two before the one. Wisdom is water, I'm the daughter of the cannon fodder. Applied knowledge and insight, a born scholar. Look like a martyr to marauders like Tartar. Wise owl slaughter, whack MCs order applauder. Original woman, decipher the womb. Crown of creation, fruit of the planet, earth and the moon.
Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to another episode of Wise the Dome. Before we get started, I have a couple announcements. You can catch the show on Apple Music and Spotify podcasts. All you got to do is type in Wise the Dome TV. It'll be there. Also on Friday, May 26th, the Wise the Dome album featuring great MCs such as the one I'm interviewing now will be out. Everybody's on it. Patty Honcho, Know It All, B. Dot, Allah Preem, Backwoods Sweetie. Just the list goes on, man. I'm definitely proud of this piece of work here, and I couldn't have did it without MCs such as Patty Honcho, the brother I'm interviewing now. So again, man, I definitely appreciate your contribution on the album, and thank you for coming through, G.
Hey man, anytime, man, and I'm glad that I was on it. All those illustrious artists, man. Like it's a crazy set. Like you got crazy lineup. I know it sound dope too.
Yeah.
I ain't hear it yet, but
yeah,
I know it sound dope.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it, man. Paterson, New Jersey, man. That's where you're from. Musically, how would you say being from Paterson shaped you?
Musically, I'd probably say it shaped me in a couple different ways. The environment you in, it's going to affect your writing style, what you write about, your life, the things you see.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't let that be the only thing like define my style and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I like to be different on a lot of things too. Just talk about a whole bunch of different shit instead of just talking about hood shit or whatever
Yeah.
But that's how, that's basically how it shaped me though.
Yeah, no doubt. You have a great ability to be lyrical and have a diverse range of topics, like the song Trauma Bonding, which is one of my favorites. Whenever you're in your writing process, is that something that you are conscious of as far as, I want to have a diverse range of topics that I build on in a lyrical way? Like, is that something that you plan or that just comes naturally? How does that work?
I think it's more natural. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I hear the beat and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I think I got to go this route on it. A lot of the times the beat dictates what I'm gonna write about. But sometimes it is purposeful, like I do it intentionally. Maybe when I feel like I put out too much of the same type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, let me switch it up, Yeah, something like that.
Do you think that could be a problem? Because I saw Benny the other day say that, his new album isn't going to be, if you're looking for all boom bap, that's not what's going to be on his new album.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the fans, didn't really like that. But I think I kind of understand Benny's idea of not wanting to put out the same album, over and over, right? What are your thoughts on, especially as an independent artist, where you have the need to, constantly put out music to keep your name out there without having that music sound like the other music that you just put out? What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I'm not mad that he said that or that he feel that type of way, because literally I be feeling the same shit. Like sometimes I don't want to drop an album that's all boom bap or I don't want to drop the same type of style that I just was on. Like I'm right now I'm embodying a whole different kind of sound and persona,
Right.
So I'm not even on the boom bap type of time right now. So I understand what Benny was talking about.
Yeah. Do you think it's easy for MCs like yourself who are lyrical to kind of get boxed in sometimes by, maybe fans or media that want you to do things a certain way?
Absolutely. They I guess they try to use the term, like the analogy if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? They try to tell you that, but at the same time, if you trying something different and y'all gonna end up liking it regardless because y'all quote unquote fans anyway. So it's like, might as well try it out. And if your real fans don't like it, then that's saying something instead of somebody on Twitter that's just agreeing with whatever somebody else said.
Right.
If your real fans don't like it, then that's really saying something.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. At one time, I think I kind of fell into the idea that hip hop was dying because I wasn't aware of where to find the new talent at that time yet, right? Which clearly it's not. It's in good hands. At the same time, what do you think are some of the challenges, with that idea with, some audiences, especially like maybe older audiences, who may not be aware of some of you guys, right? And the movements that are going on the independent level. And so they're basing the state of hip hop on what's happening in the mainstream, right? When there's tons of movements that are happening where people are doing their thing. Sunez, he calls it the invisible renaissance, and you're definitely an MC that's a part of that. What do you think? Do you think that a lot of the way we consume music, right, has played a factor in people saying, yo, hip hop ain't what it used to be, simply because the people that may grew up on 80s and 90s hip hop may just not know where to look? Do you think that's a possibility, or is it more to it?
So it's like 50-50. A lot of them, they not tech savvy. They not on Twitter. You know what I mean? So a lot of us, we on Twitter.
Right.
Like, they go straight to Instagram, but it's not, you won't easily find somebody like us on Instagram, you know what I mean? Unless we post all the time up there, and like you might see like somebody like Know It All, you'll see him on Instagram if you following like the right people, probably his related joint to come up because he posts a lot up there. They got to be more tech savvy if they want to have an opinion on the state of rap, you know what I mean, of today, because it's all through technology right now. It's all online, everything online. But there's also the other side where, you know what I mean, it's some niggas that they know of us on Twitter, like they up there too, and they I guess you want to call them the old heads or whatever you want to call them. They up there, they know we rapping. It's a whole bunch of young niggas rapping, not doing the, I guess, mainstream style, but they still try to discredit the state of today's game. You know what I mean? So they just trying to be down with whatever the main, topic is, or whatever, whatever the main objective is, whatever everybody else doing, they just following behind that shit. And that's how I always look at it.
Yeah, I agree too, because like you have these platforms, whether they're social media platforms or YouTube or Spotify podcasts, whatever, right? And a lot of times they spend more time talking about the things they don't like instead of shining a light on y'all. You know what I'm saying? When, in my opinion, that's where a lot of the energy needs to go, because y'all are clearly doing y'all thing, y'all making noise. And it goes to show that, like, young cats did grab the torch, you know what I'm saying? And are doing, great things with the music. Do you think that some of these platforms, could do a better job at highlighting, what's happening on the independent scene?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like people like Hip Hop by the Numbers and Check the Rhyme, Ruben, like more blogs like that, the stuff that they do where they still talk about mainstream stuff. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
still posted, but it's also a whole nother layer. Like you said, I like the Invisible Renaissance. That's fire, yo. I like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's they talk about us too.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like if more blogs did that, bigger blogs, millions of follower count blogs did that,
Mhm.
it'd be better for all of us because we always gonna be like type of always gonna be the type of group that have fan bases that are like a niche fan base.
Mhm.
They tight knit small. So like that's the best type of fan bases in my opinion. No matter if a blog that has 1 million followers post us or if somebody like Ruben posts us, like we always gonna have that same style of fan base regardless. I feel like you feel me. So
Yeah.
they not going. They just and those type of niggas see us too. The 1 million follower blogs, they see
Mhm.
us too. They see us. You know what I
Right.
mean? But they don't. That's not their style.
Yeah, and a lot of those $1 million follower blogs, they don't even talk about the music, right? Like when they do have a artist on, a lot of times they're talking about crimes that they committed, man. Whenever we saw recently the young brother in Houston, right, he get killed after, and going on a popular show and talking about defending himself. And I want to say something else happened like that a couple of weeks after. Do you think it's getting to a point where like a lot of these accounts are focusing on the wrong thing as far as even whenever they do attempt to shine the light on a young artist, it's not really about his music?
Actually, yeah, they live off that shit.
Yeah.
They instigate a lot of these beefs and shit like that. Sometimes these niggas they're squash it probably and nobody will know about it but them. But
Mm-hmm.
they still antagonizing the shit, posting about it, and I don't know, somebody from their team will say something or
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean? They just be antagonizing stuff. So I think they live off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll rather post about some BS rather than some good music for sure,
Right.
100%.
Right. And do you think like now, as being an independent artist with a buzz, that even when it comes to not all fans, obviously, but certain pockets of fans where they are more enamored with the personality than the actual music, right? Because you see a lot of MCs who are blowing up on the independent scene. A lot of times it's not, well, I would say underground, right? Because when I say independent, I mean people that are doing it independently who got skills, right?
Right.
But do you think, because like when you looked at the Tekashi thing, right? It couldn't have been the music that gave him, 1 million followers, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other artists like that, right? Like, do you think it's becoming a thing to where people are more enamored with the social media presence than they are the actual music?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the perfect way to put that. Yeah, Takashi, I guess, is a good example. I like to use somebody like, well, I don't really know real names, but there's people who like they'll go viral,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll have like a viral moment, not
Mm-hmm.
nothing related to music.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, a couple months later, they like a rapper or some shit
Right.
like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy to me
Yeah.
too. Like that
Yeah.
happens all the time. Bad Baby.
Yeah. That's why I said that's the first person I thought of. Yeah.
She did that shit. There's
Mm-hmm.
mad people that do that. You know what I mean? Like so, I think that's kind of crazy too. Cause where's the integrity? Like ain't no love for the shit for real. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
That's just how it is.
Well, that's a good point. And as far as you like you clearly got a love for the music. How important is it to have a genuine love for the music while actually making music?
I think it's really important, man. Cause if you don't got no love for it, you could make some shit that you really don't like, putting it out just to put it out. But what you really getting out of that? You're not really
Mm-hmm.
getting nothing fulfilling out of that. You
Right.
know,
Right.
but it's a money thing at the end of the day. People just do it for business and shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that shit don't never last. There's no
Yeah.
real genuine longevity story about somebody that's doing this shit just for the money, no love for the music, and that lasting for a very long time. Like, I don't think that shit gonna ever last.
Right. Because you're gonna find yourself just riding whatever wave is popular.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
eventually people will see that and lose interest. You know what I'm saying? You know how hip hop fans are. Like, it don't take much for them to you know what I'm saying, to turn on you sometimes. Being from Patterson, being a lyricist, being an MC that is introspective, sometimes funny, sometimes, you know, who were your musical inspirations? Like, and it doesn't have to be necessarily just hip hop artists. Like who were some of your musical inspirations that I guess sometimes maybe you can even feel like you're in a little writer's block or something, and you throw it on and you energized again.
Yeah, man. Word, definitely. Coming up, definitely listening to a lot of like old like soul type of music and shit like that. You know, Stevie was always on. Stevie probably my favorite artist of all time.
Indeed.
You know, obviously Michael Jackson and the James Brown playing and shit, and my grandmother and shit like that. Gospel music.
Yeah.
Came up on a lot of that. As far as hip hop, definitely a lot of Jay-Z coming up. Kanye was my favorite at one point. Kanye influenced me a lot to just like get in different bags and shit like that. You know, like he's definitely influential. As far as recently at my teenage type of time period, I was getting more into like Sean Price and like, you know what I mean? And like Tyler the Creator too, just more like expressive type of dudes, like with their style.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to be more expressive. Like, you know, rapping is cool, but when you know what I mean, when you could do different things, I just think it's better to me. Like, so
why
those,
is that not to cut you, but why is that important, like to be able to be expressive and kind of, because, you know, like I feel like some of the most timeless music is like music that resonates with the audience, where they relate to on a certain level, right? And anytime you're expressive and giving a piece of yourself on the track, somebody is going to relate to it. It's going to mean something to somebody, you know. Like, is that something that is important to you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you express yourself musically, instead of just keeping one same flow, which is also cool. I like dudes who do the same flow all the time too. Like, you know what I mean? I listen to them too. But when you different with it, it just shows a different kind of like ability that you have. Like, it's just more it's just more impressive. You know what I mean? When you express yourself, it seems more impressive, though. Like, you could do that. You could go out of yourself and get into that bag. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of dope.
Yeah, for sure. I know you had a show last night. It was the second in that series, right? Of
Third.
Okay. If you can, tell everybody about those shows, like how they got set up and what the goal and aim is and how they've been going.
Yeah, the Scaring the Holes Hip Hop Showcase. It's hosted and curated by Happy Art and Know It All. They both came together and they came and curated it. Yeah. The last two of them was hosted in the Bronx. It's been going well. Both of them joints been fire. The second one we had Black Shadori there.
Nice.
Unruly. Yeah, they came all the way from down south, like VA and Maryland and shit like that. This one, Morning Run came up from Mass. Yeah, so we trying to keep having more people come together. We had Chef there, dope MC. He be on Twitter a lot. You know, a bunch of dope artists pulling up, man. And we trying to just keep doing these every month.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, get into bigger venues and have more artists.
Yeah, that could turn into a thing where like you know, honestly too, like if we look, that's how a lot of movements popped off. They had a spot where they would go to maybe once a month or whatever, or, you know, or more frequent, but began to build a loyal fan base that came, introduce new artists, people link up, people network with each other. That's definitely a dope way to, you know, continue to express the art in different ways. You know what I'm saying? The flyers are dope. I saw I saw the live stream of the show. Some of it yesterday. I was watching the fight as well. Great show, man. Great atmosphere, man. I definitely salute y'all on that.
Well, appreciate you, man. Yeah, Czar Hill, he be doing the covers. The energy there is always crazy. The energy is always good, man. So I can't wait to do many more, for real.
Yeah. How important do you think are, like, you know, doing live shows as an indie artist and getting out there with the people?
Yeah, it's real important, yo. I think that's helped me a lot. I'm getting better with performing. I think last night was probably my best performance ever. Like, no funny shit. I think that's the best performance I ever did. I was energized. I was into it, looking at the crowd. You feel me? I ain't fuck up my lyrics not once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the best I did, man. You know what, that thing you said where that's how movement started back then, like where they came together a month after month or whatever. Like I was thinking about that. Crazy enough that you say that. I was thinking about that probably a couple weeks ago, like how hip hop started. You know what I mean? Kool Herc and them, and like how they just would, you know, come together and play music. You know what I mean? Like just come together, play music, and they just continuously did that. It became something. Eventually, niggas started rhyming over them shits, writing and whatever. It became some dope shit. So that's what Scaring the Hoes really remind me of, like just the beginning of some dope shit. Like,
yeah. Oh no, I definitely see it. And it's just gonna grow every time. You know what I'm saying? It might get to a point where y'all have to do it twice a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, with a lot of mainstream media and what is more promoted, a lot of, when it comes to the East Coast, right, which we've always known for lyricism and things of that nature, we're getting it seems like with some platforms, drill may be overshadowing what people consider more traditional, you know, New York, New Jersey type hip hop. And I'm not one to, you know, just knock whatever kind of genres is doing their thing, but it does seem to be an imbalance in what is promoted. Do you think that, like, lyricism now, it's like that? Do you think that people are trying to push it on the back burner, like whereas at one point it was one of the most important things, you know, that flow and voice type of thing, to where now it may be not as important to some fans?
Well, for me, I listen with different ears. Like, I'm not gonna listen to a drill record trying to, you know what I mean, expect crazy bars or whatever. You know what I mean? I do like some drill records, you know, and the sound, I just think the sound is just what it is. It's the sound of today. Like, it's everybody just moving with the times. Soon it'll be another sound that's a little controversial that come out of New York, or well, you know, drill ain't from New York, but New York drill specifically, how drill translated to New York or whatever. I like the sound though. Like, it's you know, it ain't it's just a new thing. But you gotta listen with different ears. Don't listen to drill with your boom bap ears, you know what I mean?
I saw somebody, like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I didn't, like, growing up, I didn't listen to 3 6 Mafia for the same reason I would listen to Wu-Tang, right? Like, I'm not listening with the same ears. I don't think everybody grasps that concept that you just said. Like, if you can elaborate on that, because I think that's important whenever we're talking about how we digest hip hop, and like from, you know, different regions and different subgenres. Like, it's not all meant to do the same thing, right?
Right. Yeah, I think you gotta love music for real. Like, you would know yourself, like what you want to listen to. You know what you like. You know what I mean? Like, there's some songs that I don't like, but I know I like some elements of it. You know, it's not something that I would listen to on a daily basis. But I like some elements of the song or whatever. Like, you know, you just gotta really love music to know you have to listen with certain ears, or that you should listen with certain ears. You don't have to do nothing, you know what I mean? But you should listen.
Right.
You should listen with certain ears though.
Yeah.
Like if you want to enjoy the music better, like, you know what I mean, that'll help you.
Right. No, I agree. One thing that I love about like the movement that y'all have put in motion is, collaboration, and there's about 9 to 10 of y'all where put out a new project. I can expect to hear at least some of y'all on the album. Like how important is it to collab with the circle that you created, and vibe out with those other artists on their projects, and vice versa.
It's amazing. Before I met these dudes, bro, I didn't know really that many people who was into music. Probably like a couple dudes who just got into music. Like I've been doing this shit since I was 9, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I love this shit. I do this shit every day. Like, you know what I mean? When I met everybody on Twitter, I was like, yeah, these niggas is like on the same time as me. Right. I ain't never met nobody who was on that type of time. Like, yeah, you might like music, but do you like that? Do you love it? Like, is that like, do you embody that shit? You know what I mean? Is that part of your everyday life? Like, it wasn't clicking with everybody, whoever I was with before that. You know what I mean? So these niggas, yeah, they helped me a lot. I never performed as much as I did before I met these dudes. I never knew so many producers and rappers. Like the amount of producers I met online on Twitter is crazy. I have so many beats right now. Like I can't complain at all. Like, so
why do you think a lot of people like think or assume that IG is where you're going to network and find other artists when it's actually probably Twitter that's best suited for networking and building an audience as an artist? Because a lot of people assume that I guess IG being what it is that's where you're going to find the MCs, that's where you're going to find the new music. But I found it to be the opposite.
Right. So I think some people they don't want to be real with themselves. Like they don't want to get off Instagram. In my opinion, I don't even know why Instagram is still as highly regarded as it is. You know what I mean? Because Instagram is so corny to me. Like
it is.
And it's mad bots up there. It's mad spamming BS up there. Like I don't understand why it's still as highly regarded as it is. Twitter is much better for networking, and just really getting to know people. So I don't know. I honestly can't even tell you why people still on IG, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
but it is good to promote your stuff, and like if you get a lot of followers on Instagram, it looks better than when you have a lot of followers on Twitter. Because the followers on Twitter, like people don't look at Twitter like that. They be thinking you up there trolling or whatever. Like they look at that as the troll app, and Instagram is more serious. So when you get all them followers up there, it looks better for your business or whatever you're trying to promote and shit.
Yeah, that's true. What role do you think social media, plays in the success and exposure of underground and independent artists?
I think it plays a big role. It's probably, if it's the second biggest role. The first thing is you got to be good at music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second thing is you got to have your socials and your networks together. You know what I mean? Because if you don't got that shit together, then you just good at music, and nobody gonna hear it. So in this day and age, you just gotta be online and have your socials together, man. Yeah, I feel like I always say I was born a little too late, man. I would have rather be in the selling CDs out the back of the car.
Yeah, those was the days, man.
Yeah, I was born a little too late, but this shit, it's kind of easier to get noticed because you could do some dumb shit and get noticed. Back then, if you did some dumb shit, it was just some dumb shit. Like
right.
Now you could go viral off that and then promote your music.
Yeah, real talk, man. I know you're a big sports fan. Did you get a chance to see the fight last night?
Yeah.
Man. So what do you think, man? Because I've been, I'm hearing robbery. I ain't rewatch it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Me
But
either. I ain't rewatch it yet either.
what I did find out today though that we know Loma outlanded Haney. I think like 126 to 110, but he
He threw
only
more.
outlanded him in 4 rounds. And
Mm-hmm.
those were rounds that he clearly won. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think of the fight, man?
Listen, man, I'm a big Haney guy, bro. I've been watching Haney since I was like 17. Me and him the same age, you feel me? So when I
Right, right,
first saw him, on TV, I was like, damn, he's 17 too. Like, damn, that's crazy.
right.
So I've been watching him ever since. Big Haney fan, but last night I feel like his head wasn't all the way in the game, yo. I don't know what it was, but his defense wasn't like as sharp as it usually is.
Right,
Like, you know what I
right.
mean? It wasn't sharp. Like, and Loma, big ups to Loma. Let me give him his props. You know, I'm a big Haney fan, but Loma is nice. Like he's that guy.
Oh, he's
I
not.
like
He closed the
yeah,
distance in like the first round, like, and that was good.
yeah.
That was the big question mark. Could he do
Can
that?
he
And he
close
did.
that depth? And he
Yeah.
did that easily. He shut all that out real quick as soon as the fight started, became the inside fighter that he is. Haney was, you know what I mean, doing the catch combinations like he always do, the beautiful catch combos. He was countering well, good body work. But I don't think he should have flat out won that, especially not no unanimous decision. Like, especially not no UD. It should have been a split decision, if anything, if he did win.
Right.
But I think it should have been a draw or a
and run that back. They're supposed to run that back, man.
Yeah. Out of that, or if you wanted to clear cut, give it to somebody. It couldn't have been Loma because he was losing at the beginning a lot. So it's like you can't give it to him. So it should have been split Loma or a draw. It shouldn't have been a Haney unanimous decision.
Would you have been all right with a Haney split decision?
I would have been more all right with it, but I still would have been like, damn, Haney, I don't like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I would have been more right than I am right now, though.
Right.
But a draw would have been much better though. That was kind of crazy. Fucking Dave Moretti scored 116, 112.
Yeah. He gave a 10th to Loma when Loma was, I mean to Haney when Loma was, that was his best round, damn it.
Yeah, they gotta let him go.
They gotta let him go. Did you see what do you think about Shakur? And you know, a lot of people saying that he was kind of looking like a hater last night, but I'm not sure if that's it. I feel like he just kind of smelled some blood, man. And
yo, these niggas, bro, do they know what boxing is, bro?
Right,
like,
right. It's combat sports, man.
These niggas talk all day. Like, they don't understand like how much talking goes into boxing, yo. Like, it's the fight. That's literally the last thing you gonna see.
Right,
like, all the shit before that. This is leading up to the Shakur Haney fight. It's starting right now. Well, they already been talking. You feel me? Before this online and shit. But Shakur right now is my favorite fighter. He's my favorite boxer right now. Shakur. I think he'll beat Haney in the 12 round. I think he'll beat Haney in 12 rounds. I might give him the way Haney looked last night. I'll rewatch the fight, but I could give him a unanimous, bro. I could give Shaq that unanimous, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think the biggest fight is Shakur and Tank. Shakur obviously with the skill, Tank with the punching power. But you know, I still give Haney his props. I mean, he was up against a future Hall of Famer that probably has the best footwork in the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
He looked like he was energized. You know, I hope that's not the end of Loma's career, you know.
I don't think that's definitely his last shot at unification.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get that opportunity again.
Nah. Not at 35. And
they got all these young niggas, like, you know what I mean? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. That's why he was crying like that. He knew, bro.
Yep.
Loma, he knew.
Nah, you're right. Also, in the news, I saw, man, Timberland. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Timberland recently, you know, put out a snippet of a song with Biggie's voice, but it was AI. It was AI. And
I forgot about that.
yeah,
I heard that.
and then but a couple of days ago, he says that he's gonna, I guess, work on creating a company where they get exclusive licenses for dead artists where they can make music using their likeness. And Young Guru is pushing back, and he was saying that, Timbaland, I love you, man, but this is dangerous and corny. And we all it's funny, right? Like when we talk about AI, and you got self-driving cars and shit and all of this kind of stuff, right? We always looked at it as, we understood that it was going to take some jobs, right? Because that's how technology is, and then new industries are created. But I never really thought about it ever like messing with the music business. We got AI that can make beats now. Obviously, we got AI that can write rhymes, and we got AI now that can actually put the song together. What are your thoughts on where this could possibly be going?
So my thoughts on AI, man, I think it's kind of crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that shit. I'm not trying to get to a point where, because I know I'm going to get to the point where people going to want to use my voice.
Mm.
I don't want motherfuckers to use my shit for AI,
Right.
or through AI or however. I don't know where your talent at, bro. You know what I mean? Don't do music if you need AI to write a song for you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You're not a songwriter.
Right.
Maybe you should do something else musically.
Right.
If you can't write a song and you need AI to do it, you're not a
But
songwriter.
no, agreed, 100%.
Like, yeah.
Like, what about the idea of using dead artists? Like, imagine,
Yeah.
in December, the number one, because things can happen fast, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Imagine December, the number one song on the charts is a new Tupac song that he ain't even write. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, what's your
Oh
thoughts
my
on
God.
that? Because it sounds crazy, but this is what he's proposing. This is what these companies that are striving to put money behind him to do this are proposing.
When what was Timberland last hit?
Ooh, I don't know, man. As far as I don't know, man. I don't know.
The verses ain't pay well?
Right.
Cause
Right.
like, what's going on, bro? Like, I think he kind of know that shit kind of fishy, yo. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't no other way around it. You've been making music since, you know what I mean, whatever. Like before I was born, my nigga. You've been doing that shit since before I was born.
Right.
I'm sitting here trying to tell you that's crazy. You've been making music before I was born. How that sound?
Right.
You know what I mean? That he must be down bad. Nigga must need some money.
Right.
That's the only explanation.
Or want more, see more. I see opportunity because after that verses,
or want more money, right?
Because people kind of have a little bit of criticism about how the versus thing was handled, how it went all corporate. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he got a taste of that bag and was like, "Yo, you know how it go." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, lose dignity and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like you said, man, yeah, exactly. Maybe the niggas just don't give a fuck what nobody's saying.
Right.
Oh, I see the bag in this AI. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if y'all don't like it, then whatever, sue me.
Somebody hit me up about it, and they kind of made a good point where they were saying, imagine, being an indie artist, and then you have an influx of music coming out from dead legends that are competing with the new crop of MCs. That sounds more like a corporate takeover than expressions of music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They can do a lot with that. They can do a lot with that. Imagine if they get licenses for Big and Pac and ODB and Pimp C, and oh man, they can do a lot with that, bro.
Because the way they would get the licenses is through the labels. So it's so
That's
like
what it looked. That's what it looked like.
that's how it sounded like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because the family just don't got the rights.
They don't have
It's
it
not like
anyway in a lot of
yeah,
cases.
in
Because
a lot
remember,
of
Afeni
cases,
had to
yeah.
fight for Pox. You know what I'm
And
saying?
hip hop, yeah, the families they don't be having the
No,
rights and shit. That's some
no.
old school type of, you know what I mean?
It
Yeah,
is, man. It
yeah,
is.
that's some real old school type of shit. Marvin Gaye type shit, like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We we recently, saw the situation with John Morant. Um, one of the best, obviously, young NBA players in the league. He's had some issues with guns and social media and certain things, and a lot of the criticism I've noticed and read is that he's we've all seen it where some are saying that he's trying to be something that he's not, and two or people are talking about the culture in which we exist in, as black men and women. um a lot of the culture is obviously influenced by hip hop. I wouldn't say hip hop is the culture, but the hip hop plays a big role in the culture. And a lot of people are kind of, like Ice Cube said, gangster rap made me do it, right? Like we're in that one joint where he's kind of talking about this same idea that, keep that people when people of a certain generation do something, a lot of times, that is blamed. Do you think it is fair or unfair that a lot of the critique and criticism on Ja Morant is revolved around hip hop culture being toxic, quote unquote?
I'm not gonna lie, I think that shit is unfair, Lil, because at the end of the day, he a grown ass man. You feel me? Like, you can't blame hip hop for that. Like, or I mean, this nigga listening to NBA YoungBoy and shit. Like, that's the reason why he pulling out a gun on camera after he already got in trouble for doing it one time. Like, he just don't give a fuck. You feel me? He don't care. Like,
Right.
that's why he did it. He
Mm-hmm.
don't care. Blame it on him. It's not on NBA YoungBoy. It's not on hip hop or nothing. Like, he just don't care.
Right.
That's how I feel.
It's kind of funny too. A lot of people blamed his homeboy for going live, but his homeboy saw the
Move
gun.
the
His
camera.
homeboy hurry up, move the camera. I don't think that's on his homeboy. I think his homeboy is probably looking like, oh man, you wilding again. Like every time we go
Right.
live, you pull the strap out. Like what do you think? So with the Memphis Grizzlies, obviously, they tried to get out in front of it and I guess suspend him before the NBA lay down their suspension, because a lot of times if a league sees the team take the reins when it comes to that, they'll say, okay, well, we agree with that punishment and we'll let it be that, right? But do you think that he is getting to a point where he could find himself out of the league in a couple of years?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's dumb enough to like do something drastic like this again. But
We said that the last time too.
Exactly. I probably felt that way after he did it the first time, right?
Yeah.
But what they will do, I feel like, is suspend him for half of the season, 40 games or some shit, 41 games. And he'll come back and probably being the best he could be, probably acting like, you know what I mean, being up studious, acting in order like he used to act and how he supposed to act. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless he really don't give a fuck. If he really, really don't give a fuck and he keeps showing guns and having a gun on him all the time or whatever the case may be, then yeah, he'll definitely be out the league in a couple of years.
And that and for the record, that ain't nothing that any of us obviously want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I know one thing I didn't think was fair was a lot of people began to blame his father, right? But Ja, all right, so you got to think about all those practices his dad took him to, all those, basketball being a year-round thing is not like you have to be an active parent in order for, your child to go from, little league to AAU to college to the NBA. And then after a while, when the child becomes the breadwinner, and he's 23, I mean, he might not be listening to his father. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I don't think they should have blamed his father. Twitter, man, and the social media shit, it's so fickle, man. Hey, everybody is such a jokester. Everybody a jokester. You feel me?
Right.
They don't know shit about none of these situations, and then they always got some slick shit to say. They post a video of this nigga father dancing with a drink, and then they like, oh, I see where Ja get it from, or whatever the
He's
case
a grown
may be.
man, yo.
That's a grown, like, they don't even, you know what I mean? Shit like that. It's like that don't even correlate. They always jokesters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
People be ducking accountability, man.
Yeah, real
Blame
talk.
Job, man. That's all on him. The whole thing, that's his fault. He gotta look at it that way too. And if he don't, he gonna keep getting in trouble.
And at the end of the day, it's what we go through, in our life outside of obvious, oppression and things of that nature. But we are the author of the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? And you can't take credit for the good and attempt to disassociate yourself from the bad. You got to accept that all and learn from it. You know what I mean? I mean, we all been there. We all made, stupid mistakes. He just obviously does it in the public eye. I wanted to ask you something, like, historically to now, right? Is there a difference between New York hip hop and New Jersey hip hop? Because because the reason I asked, right? Because like being from the South, I can clearly hear the difference in nuance from artists from Houston and artists from New Orleans, right? Or Atlanta. Would you say, obviously there are a lot of similarities with New York and New Jersey, but do you think that there are some differences that some people may not pick up or notice if they're not like from there?
Probably more so like the lingo, the shit that we say. The style is pretty similar because we literally right next to each other. It's more like that East Coast style. A lot of Jersey shit do take from Philly a little too.
Okay.
So it's like Philly and I guess New York mix, some shit like that. So it's it is, I guess, our own little style, but it is just the East Coast, like just rap style. Yeah.
Who were some of your favorite MCs from Jersey?
Man, definitely Red.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely Red. Right now, my comedy, man. My comedy, my favorite right now, man.
Do you think Tretch get the love that he's supposed to get?
Over here he do, but I guess overall probably not. You gotta talk to some real like fans. I guess they'll call themselves historians. But Tretch, he should deserve a little more love. Yeah.
No doubt, man.
Ransom.
Oh yeah. Can't forget Ransom. He killed it, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think dope thing about Ransom is he showed too that if you just keep at it and you dope, your time will come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
What you got working on, man? And what's new? What's on deck?
And we got the Blaxploitation, man.
Ooh.
It's dropping in July.
Nice. Tell me about that.
Yeah, mostly produced by Greenery. I got some JD Smooth beats up there. A young producer, dude, only like 14 or some shit like that.
Right.
He plays instruments. He does all this, bro. So he made some dope joints for me. And one scale beat up there.
Dope.
Yeah. And
you got any features you got any features on there, or you keeping that under wraps right now?
I got one rapping feature up there, and I'm gonna hold it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold it for a little bit. I got one rapping feature, and I got somebody singing up there too.
Dope. what is that going to be the only project of because I know you dropped the single Chess Piece, which is, man, that joint is fire.
Appreciate you.
Are you going to be after that new album? Will there be the fans be hearing from you again, or like a possible EP or another full length? What you got going?
We trying to drop something in September. It's like a little low key joint, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So I ain't going go too much
Yeah.
into it, but some shit trying to come out in September. And for as far as solo, I just been really letting shit like just vibe and come to me. So I want to drop again, but if it ain't done by December or the end of the year, it's not gonna come out. So, but hopefully by December I could drop. I like dropping in December.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And that'll obviously too, we'll be hearing you on features and all of
Yeah.
that too. How can people follow you on social media, and where can they find your music?
It's Patty_Honcho on Twitter, Patty Honcho on Instagram. My music, Patty Honcho on all platforms. HONCHO, not no U, HONCHO.
Already. Yeah, man. Again, definitely appreciate you coming through. I appreciate the music that you're making. It's definitely a breath of fresh air, especially for people who love the art, who like to listen to music, who from other people who love the art. I appreciate you hopping on my album as well. It was an honor for me to make and to have y'all on. And man, continued success. This is the first one of many, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna keep this going. And anytime you want to come back, bro, like, the platform is definitely yours as well, man. So I appreciate what you're doing, and keep up the great work, G.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. You already know.
No doubt, man. You have a good one.
You too, bro.
Peace.
One.